Hello everybody and welcome back to another chassis variant series video. It's been a long time coming. I know the Crusader came out ages ago and I've just not gotten around to doing it. There's a bunch of stuff I gotta do, and I do apologise for this. But here we are with the Crusader 6T. Now, the 6T model is a much later variant of the Crusader. It was developed sometime around the late 3050s, early 3060s by Kallon Industries. It was a model that basically aped the Nova, and there's no reason not to ape the Nova. When you see a mech wander around with 12 ER medium lasers, you start to think, damn, that thing can cause a lot of damage. And this thing virtually copies the exact same build. It's basically 6 medium lasers in each arm and has a pair of flamers. Normally these are hip mounted, but in MWO they can't do leg mounts for whatever reason, so they got shifted up into different sections of the mech. I think it's the left and right torso if I remember correctly. So yeah, this thing is basically a laser death machine. It's very straightforward, and its biggest and weaknesses should be the most obvious ones, i.e. if the arms get blown off, you lose 50 to 100% of your firepower, unless you want to count the 2 flamers that you're going to be wandering around with, doing very little else with. So it just epitomizes MWO's love of the high, hard point combined with high hard point count combined with the energy spam of the the late gameplay. So there's probably tons of builds you can come up with this thing. It's not bad at all. By default it comes with an XL engine, it has to, and it comes with I think 17 double heatsinks, also a very, very important necessity for a mech that generates so much heat. I mean, on the table you definitely don't want to be using this thing in the sense of being able to fire all 12 medium lasers. You definitely don't want to be doing it in MWO because you will shut down. It doesn't matter how many extra heatsinks you cram into that thing, even if you whack in a standard 100, it just isn't going to be enough. So I found that this thing works best with chainfire, believe it or not. The heatsinks combined with the skills that are available that can allow you to dump extra heat is remarkably efficient. We're talking about a mech that, as long as you keep up the chain fire, and as I said, don't do any block firing, you can become a rather nasty harasser at this point, being able to just constantly put down a stream of steady damage regardless of how little each individual medium laser can do. Most pilots, in my experience, and as you'll see from this video, even if they're heavier, generally don't want to keep getting hit by lasers again and again and again and again without any visual sign of you slowing down in your rate of fire. Obviously, a lot of these energy builds in MWO rely on the idea of being able to do one big alpha, hitting a target with a shitload of energy firepower, burning off armor or blowing off a limb, and then having to back off to cool down for several seconds. This isn't really the case for this. As you can see, it's a carousel of green death. It will continue to fire, and as long as the target that you're firing upon is being distracted by something else, you can just start to chip away armor. As I said, at this range I'm probably not doing a lot, but it's constant, regular damage to the machine, it's trying to burn away armor, it's hitting internals, and yeah, it's not a good finish for the enemy. They really do have to... Anyone should be paying attention. If you see a 6T on the field, it's definitely worth getting a scan of it to make sure that it's not too, too well equipped with weapon systems that you definitely don't want to be getting in front of. I would actually say that this thing is a priority to take out, because it is such a brutal mech. And there's more examples in this round. I was genuinely surprised. This, I think, was the first round I took this out for the recording, and it's just its ability. As you can see, I'm still firing. I'm just about to hit 50% and continuing on, and I'm just stripping the armor off the back. As I said, it's not quick damage that burns away armor instantly, but it's constant damage, and it has a psychological effect. Players don't want to keep seeing the paper doll flashing constantly, because that puts the idea that you're under constant threat. You need to back off, you need to get out of the line of fire, so you can push a person into an unfavourable position where they can get hit by friendlies, they can be hit by LRMs, flanking light, something like that, and you could just put the support fire down, and that's all you need. I suppose maybe I was just incredibly lucky in this round in the fact that maybe I just wasn't counted as a threat because I'm just firing medium lasers, but there you go, you can see I'm just constantly firing and firing, and when I stop the fire, you can see that it's got a pretty good heat dissipation, not as good as some energy boats out there, no doubt, but it's enough that I only need a few seconds to be able to get back to the point where I can start to fire the lasers again and again and again. That's not to say that this fight isn't a good fight either. There's quite equal battle going on here at the moment. I thought I was probably going to lose this, but I thought, hey, I'm going to do a lot of damage, so I was going to be happy with that. I thought it was a good enough fight. Now I think this is where I think it's a Marauder, or Marauder 2 decides that it wants to go for it. I realise, like, he's going to push, like, there's no reason for him not to, so screw it, let's do this. And yeah, as you can see, he stands there for a bit, but he eventually does not want to take that. He's not being shot by anyone else at the moment, he just doesn't want to keep getting hit by all those lasers, and he backs off. So the great thing about the mech is it gives you that ability to be able to dictate the pace of a battle. You can stay in the fight longer than they can more often than not, because a lot of the gameplay in MWO is about doing all the shooting all at once and trying to kill things quickly. This mech can outlast it. This mech can just keep firing while they're overheating, and you can just keep going and going and going. I think that's a fantastic one. I even got to use the flamers near the end, and even at this point I've nearly lost all my weapons, but it doesn't matter because we win the round. And you get to see the stats there. Crusader 6T, honestly, it's a good mech. Don't look down on it. I think there's also probably you can probably get some decent builds out of it, PPCs or like pulse lasers or whatever, but just the stock build, yeah, I got no complaints personally. And that wraps up the Crusader 6T. The next one will be the Crusader 7L, and I'll see you next week for that one. But until then, have a good one, everybody. I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.